YouTube, it's about to go down. Get your popcorn, get your boxing gloves, and slug it out with me in this battle of Apple versus Android. I want to talk about these platforms unfiltered, unscripted, and brutally honest in my opinion. Today's video is being brought to you in partnership with Pt.1. And if you create any type of content and upload to social media, whether Apple, Android, or cameras and computers and so forth, you need properly licensed music. So I'm giving you a 30-day free trial to Pt.1. Trust me, you need it. Keep all your money, player. Communication. I think a lot of people forget what these smartphones, although they're smart, they're still phones at the end of the day. And the number one use case or ideal case of these phones is communication. Whether that's social media, text messaging, phone calls, video chats, email, and the list goes on. Now, in between these two platforms, we have to be honest, you guys. So, hey, put your feelings aside and let's get straight to it. Now, when it comes to the Apple platform, I will not lie. We all know, whether you want to admit it or not, they have created a very well finessed ecosystem around communication. iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, just the ease of use and the ease of communicating, which I think this is what people forget as to why a lot of people continue to use Apple's iPhone over the competitors, no matter how great the features or how great the competitiveness of an Android device can be to an iPhone. There's one core thing, and that's communication. And a lot of these Apple users are OG users who had all of these features, which are now coming and trickling into the Android platform, but still are not native. Consider this: Android, Samsung Knights. You guys have to use apps, multiple apps, to get the same or even close or not quite the same communication that's provided natively on Apple's platform. Being able to send a video real quick to someone via iMessage without it getting blurry or fuzzy, or without me having to see if we got the proper RCS or whatever it's called. You know, listen, I understand Android's working on it, but Android is so fragmented that it's taken this long for them to even get close. And I mean, we all know, if you've ever used an iPhone and had an Android user attempt to send you a video, it looks like it was shot through a potato, a trash can, an autofocus camera. It just doesn't communicate well, and this may be purposely done on Apple's end. It is getting better on the Android platform, but the communication between the two is still just a little murky. And another thing when it comes to communication is family, friends, close ones. If you have a lot of family, friends, and close ones that use an Apple device, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get one in order to communicate a lot easier with them. Unless you just wanna be that rebel and go Android and make it even harder for yourself to communicate with them. Another way that, yes, Apple kind of closes their system and nudges you to get an Apple device in order to communicate with other Apple users as seamless. It's business, it's not fair, it is what it is. Although Apple is not the #1 smartphone across the world, I think a big reason for that is price. And that's another category we gotta get into, which causes people to choose one over the other. When it comes to Android, especially like these Samsung devices, there's no trade-in value, there's no more value than these devices, in the sense that if I have this phone and a new one comes out, I can trade this in and get about probably $700 to $800 back and knocked off of the price of the new device. New Samsung devices are easy to get at the $400 to $500 mark and even cheaper, some at no cost at all. And then another area of price when it comes to Android devices is affordability. There's a lot of great feature-packed Android devices that you can get for an affordable price point. Now, I won't lie, Apple lately is starting to try to get competitive on their pricing, but it doesn't give you as much phone for the lower price. I'll be honest, the iPhone SE as a communicator is definitely more than the average communicator would need in order to communicate and be a part of the Apple ecosystem at a fair price point. It's a dated body, dated phone, but Apple is software more than it is hardware. But we're gonna talk more about the hardware when we get into the next topic, which would be design. So stepping back to price point, Android is definitely way more competitive in the price market and way more attainable. So I can understand. Listen, I come from South Central LA. I come from the hood. I come from poverty. So I know, yo, when you got to get something for the low, or you end up stretching your buck just to get something that's trendy or fly, I get it. I understand how that can create some animosity, some jealousy, some drama, because certain items aren't being priced as affordable as others. And sometimes you might have to go with the affordable, even though you wanted the swaggy. Let's just keep it a buck here. This is brutally honest, unfiltered. And a lot of the hate and jealousy, let's keep it a buck, is caused due to that accessibility, which is tied to price. Now, the next topic I want to get into is design, you guys. Now, let's just be 100% honest. We pick items and things based off of the way that they look. If a device is appealing to us visually, it might appeal to us enough to want to purchase it. And these devices, these smartphones look really good. I have cases on these now, but I'll be honest, Apple has a really, really nice looking smartphone with a premium build. So does a lot of other Android devices, such as Samsung flagships, the Google Pixel devices look really good, and there's a plethora of Android devices to choose from. But the design is another playing point. And in design, we're not just talking about the look, but it's also functionality and features. And that's a place where Android just kicks Apple's butt, is in features. If you're looking for a feature pack experience, if you're looking for custom mobility, if you're looking for just freedom, then you're definitely gonna be looking at those Android devices. And there's so many to pick from that it's more than likely that you can find an Android phone that appeals to you design and feature wise. Now, the iPhone, on the other hand, is a design that slowly evolves, and it has kind of become stagnant. I won't lie, this is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I know you can't tell because I got my puffy case on there and I don't really want to take it off, but the flat edge design that they came with on the 12, on this 13 Pro and whatnot, I love it. It's one of those things where it wasn't much of a change, but for those of us who are nostalgic to the old Apple iPhones, we appreciated it. Android users, I get it. And you can go ahead and talk your ish and say that we are buying the same phone over and over as Apple users, and that's perfectly fine, and it's a fair argument. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't get in my feelings over these discussions or people throwing things. Some of y'all be way too into your feelings, and I get it. It's just like if it was the Lakers and Boston rivalry and I'm a Laker fan and you're a Boston fan, and no matter if the one team is better that season, you rocking with your team to the death. You know, like literally, like you're gonna get cooked and you're not gonna go to the playoffs or whatever, but you still gonna be riding and you're gonna be talking mess, even when you don't have any type of backing to stand upon. I'm trying to get through this video, baby, because I don't want to keep y'all here all day. But before I get into the next topic, man, I need to tell you about today's video partner. Don't trip, it won't be long. I'll just talk to you for a minute. Let me go back to old me. I have to tell you about today's video partner, which is Epidemic Sound. It's no question that I rock with Epidemic Sound. Been using them since early in my YouTube career, and if you don't understand what Epidemic Sound is, I'll tell you. It's as simple as this. If you upload video, I don't care if you TikToking, I don't care if you tweeting, I don't care if you IGing, Facebooking, or YouTubing, you need to have proper permission to use the audio and sound effects that you like to add to your videos, especially if you choose to monetize them. If you want to monetize your videos and your content and keep your monetization, then you need Epidemic Sound, because it's as simple as this. They've taken care of all of that copyright jargon and copyright permissions and things like that for you. Simply, they give you a massive library of songs, instrumentals, sound effects, Foley art, all of the things that you could possibly need for personal use, and they have commercial plans so that you don't have to ever stress copyrights, DMCA takedowns, or anything of that matter. You keep all of your monetizations, you keep your channels, you get to upload on social media stress-free. Now back to the new me, and this next topic that we need to talk about is ecosystem. Oh, here we go. He said the word ecosystem. I did ecosystem. Listen, it's a thing. Samsung And other Android devices have an ecosystem. Google, they have an ecosystem that they're building. They have their buds, they have their devices. All of their devices speak to each other. The same goes with Samsung, and obviously the infamous ecosystem of Apple. So it's something that is very important, because if you choose to go one way or the other, you are subscribing to an ecosystem. If I get this S22 Ultra as my main device and I want a smartwatch, I gotta get the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. I have one, I just don't have it on my wrist. No, I didn't want to wear any accessories because I'm staying neutral in this one. Even though I'm gonna tell you my 100% honest preference, which I know most of you guys already know, but you get the Galaxy Watch, and then you get the Tab S8 Ultra, which I have, and then you got a Samsung washing machine and TV and all that, and they all talk. Yo, it's actually really dope how you can kind of do like the AirPlay type thing and whatnot if you have a Samsung TV and device and all that. I showed you guys in my Tab S8 Ultra video. Go watch it if you didn't. But there is ecosystems. Same thing with the Google devices. I should have brought a Google device because, I mean, come on, man. Google made the Android platform, and if it weren't for Google, we wouldn't have Droid. You know, you get the Pixel phone, Pixel Buds. I use a lot of Google tech in my crib and whatnot. Fire. And then we have the infamous, the best iteration of ecosystem, the staple, the model to be modeled, and that's the Apple ecosystem. I could care less if you don't like it, if you hate it, if you feel like it's a prison, even though it's a walled garden. Imagine that. You're in a garden. It's peaceful, it's nice, it's calm, it's cool, but it is walled. Meaning that once you subject yourself and bite the apple, it's hard to get out, because iPhone, iPad, Apple computers, which is how I got into Apple products. I kind of gave myself up as computers first. It was never the phone, it was the computers. Understand that. And you guys got to understand that. A lot of people will get the iPhone to be paired with their computer because of the ecosystem, the airdrop and all that. When I was doing music production and sound engineering, airdropping a song, an MP3 back then, player, was everything. And Android did not have that. I don't care what new iteration they have now. They didn't have it then, and they're getting it now. The ecosystem is done best here. You can control your Apple TV from this phone. If I got an Apple Watch, I walk up to my computer while it's locked and it will unlock because of my Apple Watch. It just all speaks cohesively. So in the area of ecosystem, I gotta give a props to Apple. Let me go back real quick, because I think I might skip through. Communication, I gave the Apple. Price point, I gave the Android if it wasn't clear. Design, I gave the Android just to keep it clear. And ecosystem, I'm giving the Apple. So it's 2-2 player. We got one more category to go, because I don't want to keep you here forever. And that category is preference. You guys, I think some of you guys don't realize that people can have a preference. People get a choice. People can choose to use what they choose to use. I don't understand why so many people get butthurt. I don't understand why y'all be screaming, yelling, cussing, and fussing in the comment section. Like, relax. Take a chill pill. You need to take it easy, because everyone has a preference. As I said, the reason why I tend to have a preference for Apple devices is their computers. I love using Apple computers. Whether you like them or not, I don't care. I'm going to continue to use Apple computers. I got a custom PC over there. I got a super dope rig that's coming with the PC. Listen, I got some dope content. I use everything. But my preference is Apple computers. I love Mac OS, and I love the creative suites like Final Cut Pro, Logic. I used to use Logic and things like that. All in the Apple ecosystem, which is super sweet, super smooth. So I got the phone to go with the computer. I got the iPad to go with the computer. And then I ended up in there, kind of deep. But I still use the Samsung products a lot because I love their watches, I love their phones. I love Google's phones. Actually, I love Google's iteration of Android. I can like a lot, I can love a lot, I can use a lot. I can have a preference, and so can you.